Hi. In this lecture, I wanted to talk about, well, specifically book length, writing a series, and setting your price. But what we're really talking about here is providing an author's introduction to the business of self-publishing books. Now, I happen to self-publish my books. If you get a publishing deal, that's great, because one of my objections to going with publishing deals is how hard they are to get and how much time could be wasted trying to get them when you could be self-publishing. But if you already have it in your hand, hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? So I want to talk with you about the business of self-publishing specifically and prices and setting them on Amazon. If you self-publish, then you have control over those things. So you're going to have to think about it. So let's begin. And everything begins in this lecture with word count. Word count is one of the best measures of how productive you're being, how far you've made it in writing, and how far you have to go, what you're trying to accomplish. Basically, 250 words, whatever a standard word length is considered in words, is equal to one page. So most people think in pages. They're used to reading books, but pages are beginning to deteriorate in the electronic age when margins could be different, font sizes could be different, there could be different amounts of white space between chapters. All these things can affect the page count. That does not affect words, and that's why authors prefer to think and speak in words. However, readers prefer thinking and speaking in pages. So as an author, you need to think and work in both. There are some industry standard lengths for what more terms that we use for ranges of word and page length. For instance, a long novel might be 100,000 words long or 40 pages. A standard novel, the good old number that I always remember is 80K words, or 320 pages. A short novel, like a mystery novel, they can get down, cozy novels down to about 65K words, 260 pages. Novellas usually fall into the range of about 30K words or 120 pages. Technical guides, you're seeing more and more of them coming out there just to address a specific technical issue very fast in 80 pages, 20K words, and they sell for 99 cents. They're a great deal. I bought several of them. And then once again, then at the very bottom is short stories. If you want to write those, then we're talking about that might be something you do on a blog or you create an anthology, or you can sell them individually. I actually have 2 short stories out there that I sell for 99 cents. And they're, about 20 pages or 5K. So that gives you an idea of some of the lengths of things and how many pages are involved. Now, once again, I want to stress that you need to think in both. So you might want to pause the screen and memorize actually the numbers that are on it, because readers think in pages, but writers think in words. So you need to know them both. Okay, next, what is this word count and how are we going to be able to track it? Well, if you use Word, Microsoft Word that is, as your editor, then you're going to find the number of words in the document in the lower left-hand corner of the Word window. Here in this example, you'll see the page 20 of 20. I'm on the last page, and that there are 9,939 words in the document. So I'm at about 10K. If you see a number before the word of, as in this example, 37 of 9,939, that indicates the number of words that you currently have selected on the screen. I use this all the time. If you remember where you started, like I started at the beginning of this chapter, you can go put your point there, and then you can quickly select everything up to the end where you've written. You can see how many words you wrote for the day. An easier way to do that, though, is to note the total words in your document at the beginning of the day, and then make a note of the number of words at the end of the day, and that'll tell you your words. You can even make mental notes if you're good at remembering things. Now I want to talk about writing speed and duration. Okay? What I have found, and this is my personal goals for the day is that these are fairly easily attainable. I write a minimum of 500 words a day when I'm writing. Right now I'm doing Udemy lectures, so I'm not writing. I average about 1,000 words or 4 pages a day. And the maximum that I hit is usually 2K words a day. I've hit those 3K, I've even hit 4K days. They're crazy. You're on some kind of high, you write long into the night, but they're rare and far in between, and I hope not to do that too many times. I prefer to sleep. So there's some averages for me, and that would mean if we put that together with some of these links that we've already learned, uh, if I'm doing 1K a day and we take that into the long novel, that means it takes about 100 days to write a long novel. You're talking about 3 months, just the writing part. Okay, that doesn't include editing and publishing and creating the book covers and all the things you have to do as a self-published author. A standard novel usually is about 80 days of writing, right? We're going to do 80K. A shorter novel, if you can get into that area, the mysteries and stuff like that, a lot of genre fiction, men's fiction, things like that, you can get away with 65K and even shorter. Now that it's an electronic world, it used to be that these links were there because the machines that printed the hard copy books wanted them to be a certain length and to print a certain number of pages. All of that is gone now in the electronic world. Novellas, 30 days. Technical guides. I'm seeing more and more short technical guides out there. Should take about, 20 days to write a 20K technical story or a short story in 5 days. So there's an idea of some times. Now, I do this write and revise as I write kind of process. So my first drafts are usually in pretty good shape because I've gone through them and revised them. I kind of go through a waterfall of write and revise. So I only do about 500 words an hour, and I write for about 2 hours a day. So that gets me my 1,000 words. Now, some days I work longer. Uh, some days I work faster. I write faster. I do less editing, and so on. That's probably a really good habit that I should try to cultivate. So here's some numbers that will give you an idea. As you think of, monitor your own writing rate and stuff like that, modify these numbers and figure out how they apply to you specifically and your speed and duration. Next, I want to talk about another key element of this whole glob of pricing and length and so on that I'm talking about, and that is the Amazon royalties that they pay. Amazon is where I sell most of the ebooks that I publish. Like 95% of all sales come through Amazon. So, Amazon awards a 70% royalty to any author slash publisher who will price their books between $2.99 and $9.99 and not offer their ebook for a lower price anywhere else, like on Barnes& and Noble and so on. That's pretty easy to do, and that's a really good royalty. Barnes& and Noble's ebook royalty rate is 65%. So offering 70% is, it's a little nudge in Amazon's favor if you just stick within these ranges. Otherwise, Amazon will fall back to the default royalty rate of 35%. That's a 50% reduction. I mean, you're talking about being able to double your royalty rate if you comply with these two simple rules above. Okay, also, Amazon will offer a 35% royalty on certain countries like Japan, India, Mexico, and so on if you're not in their select program. Their select program, that's a whole nother topic, and maybe I'll get into it in this writing course, but not right now. It's just an additional commitment that you make to Amazon to get better royalties in these countries, if that's important to you. Okay, so let's look at Amazon ebook prices. There are some important ebook price points out there that you'll encounter. 99 cents. Okay, this is kind of like the new free, but it only gets you 35%. So if you sell a 99-cent book, you're getting 35 cents. Okay, the minimum, but the 99 cents is the minimum price that you can charge for a book on Amazon, an ebook. The minimum price at which you'll get 70% is $2.99. Okay, so triple the price from 99 cents to $2.99, and you 6 times your return. So it's a really good deal. You want to hit that. That's the sweet spot, $2.99. The maximum is $9.99, and I've never even come close to that yet. Hey, hope to someday though, huh? So the sweet spot, once again, is $2.99. That's what we're shooting at for. What can we write that we can charge $2.99 for? That's what we're asking. Other prices that I use quite often, I do 3-book bundles where I say, oh, okay, if you buy 3 books, I'll give you one of them for free. So I'll charge you $5.99 for 3 books, which normally, would have been whatever, $8.99, I suppose. So they get a free book, but I get a $4.19 return on this rather than, the $2.09 because they committed to buying more books. So commitment is good. And for the latest release, if I've got them hooked and I've got a long series and I come out with the latest book, if you want the latest book hot off the press, I'm going to charge you a premium for it. So I might charge $3.99 there, in which case I get back 70% or $2.79. This is a really great way to make money. This is a money-making machine here. Now, let me look at a sample publishing strategy. In this strategy, let's say that we're going to write short books. They're going to be from 35K to 50K words, or 35 to 50 days to write. Okay? We're going to write a series of books. We're going to charge 99 cents for the first book. It's called a lead magnet. We're going to use it to pull people into this series. $2.99 for subsequent books. That's our real meat and potatoes there in the sweet spot. Then we're going to give people a discount on 3-book bundles, bundles of books 2 through 4, 5 through 7. We begin after the first book because they've already bought that for 99 cents. So we bundle 2 through 4 instead of 1 through 3. I hope you understand that. And there's economy and commitment here, so we're going to reward people for committing to buying more books. And then, that premium price for the latest book. And that would produce something that would look like this, right? The first book and $2.99 on, $3.99 at the end, and over on the right, you have the option now of buying a 3-book bundle. It costs you more, but you save quite a bit, or buying the 3 books one at a time. Give people choices when it comes to buying your things, and they'll buy more. Now, you may be thinking, Brian, this is all great, but you're talking about multiple books here. How long is this going to take? Well, if you use a waterfall type of process, it should take about this long, right? Given a 50K word book or a 200-page book, I might use 2 days of outlining up front. I might use, I'm going to use 50 days in my write and revise process. I only need about 3 days really to edit something this short at the end. Otherwise, I get totally bored. Then it's off to the copy editor, and I'm free to start the next book. I got another day that I've got to commit to later. So if you look at all of this, right? Oh, yes, by the way, include research time as needed in your calculations if you're going to go through these calculations yourself to figure out how fast you can publish books. And in this case, I can repeat this process every 56 days, right? A few days in there taking off and so on. That means 6 books a year, every 2 months. I could publish a book using this process in a series. So how long would it take to get that 5-book example I showed you earlier? About 10 months. That'd be my rough estimate, unless you write faster. Another publishing strategy is to serialize your books. It's been used by Dickens. It was used for most of his work. Stephen King tried it with The Green Mile. Other authors have tried it, and it's become quite popular with modern-day self-publishers. What you do is you write 10 to 20K word chapters in a continuing saga every month, and you charge 99 cents. And then every 6 months, you gather all of those chapters together and you release it as a bundle for $2.99, a substantial savings from 99 cents for each of the 6 chapters, and you hit your sweet spot there with the bundle. So you do 2 bundles per year, and it would look something like this. Here's what 6 months might look like. Technical guide publishing strategy. The only thing that I really can tell you about technical guides that I've seen is that most of them seem to sell for 99 cents. And they seem to be short. And they're on specific niche categories of providing information. Popular guides and bundles can sell for upwards of $2.99, $6.99 for them. But most of the time you see 99 cents. And I would definitely use shorter guides and cheaper guides as lead generators for maybe my more expensive works. I've seen people bundle two books together and sell them for $2.99 to get to that sweet spot. That's $1.50 per book. Users might go for that. That sounds like a pretty good strategy to me. Now, how do you apply this information? Choose an appropriate word count for your project. What are you going for? 80K full novels? Or are you doing like 30K novellas and stuff like that? Are you going to use my recommended about 50K for books in a series? Choose what fits your genre. If you're into fantasy, those are usually really long. You're talking about, oh boy, 1,000+ pages, whatever that turns into in word count. So choose something short, but long enough to charge $2.99. In fact, if you do have an epic fantasy, what I would encourage you to do is to break it into smaller chunks that you can sell for $2.99. $2.99 is that sweet spot. Hover towards it. Optimize your writing towards it. It's where you get the big jump in income to 70%, but it's also the least expensive option that you're giving the user. Publish a book every 2 months or 6 times a year. Commit yourself to doing that and set up your timetable so that you can do this. You might be slower, you might be faster. Whatever the number is, set up your timetable and actually anticipate and prepare for your books coming out in the future. You should be able to publish a serial chapter or a technical guide every month. Maybe even do one of each, I don't know. But this looks really tempting to me as these serial releases. I'd like to try it sometime. I haven't done it yet. Pick a publishing strategy that applies to your situation, and then write. That's what's next, and you need to go off and do it. But first, we have an additional slide that I added late and didn't animate, so you're seeing it all at once. Here, we're going to do some what-ifs with money. Let's see what happens if you sell 100 books at 35 or 99 cents. Well, you're going to get that 35% payback or royalty, or $35. It's still some money, but you need to sell quite a few at 99 cents to make anything. Notice the jump when you go to $2.99. Oh, here we're making $209. And $5.99, if you can get them to buy those bundles, boy, $419. Another way to look at it is how many books would you need to sell at each of these prices to make $1,000 in a month? Well, at 99 cents, it's going to take you 2,857 copies. $2.99, huge drop down to $4.78. And finally, at $5.99, we're talking about only 238 copies would you have to sell to make $1,000 in a month. Now, I know you've been dying to ask me, okay, what's my best sales per month for a single book I ever published? Not one that I wrote, one that I published for my wife. She wrote Moving Violation, and in March of 2011, we sold 3,005 copies at $3.99, which was a 70% royalty of $2.79, which means that on that single book in a month, we made over $8,000. Yay. So you need to go off and write. I need to go off and put together more Udemy presentations encouraging you to write.